Shalom again, everybody. Ariel Tzadok here from the Kosher Torah School, found online at www.KosherTorah.com, bringing to you today's daily lesson in the Sefer Yetzirah. Today is lesson number 88, as we are counting down the final lessons in this chapter 6, as we bring this series, this course, this book to a conclusion, dedicating, of course, all these lessons to the safety, health, well-being, prosperity, protection, rebuilding for everybody out there. Guys, gals, whoever you are, wherever you are, remember, all right, forgive me, but allow me to say it. The force is with you, always. But not a make-believe force from some fictitious movie, but the real power, which is not some nebulous, bland, boring thing, but a very living, vibrant, personal personality thing. We refer to it as the Sefirot. We experience it through the letters. We manipulate the letters through mind, through heart, and of course in deed. And that is what this Sefer Yetzirah course is all about. But if you remember now in chapter 6, in the wise words of Rabbi Moshe Kordevero, who I taught the longer 40-hour course of Sefer Yetzirah based on his work. Right now, in chapter 6, Rabbi Chaim doesn't have commentary here. So we're going to dabble into what we've done before to give you a little flavor for it, just so you can wet your whistle, as we can say. We're taught that chapter 6 is the summary, but it's taking us out of the realm of theory and bringing us into the realm of practice, which is the interaction with those entities whom we call malachim. Remember, we translate the word malach as angel, but it doesn't really mean angel. What is an angel? In Hebrew, the word malach means a messenger, someone who goes and represents God. Now, we speak of all different types of malachim, whether it be Maimonides, whether it be the Zohar or the Sefer Yetzirah commentaries. We enumerate over 10 different types of angelic or malachi races. They're different. I mean, you know the ones from the Bible, cherubim, right? Remember those little guys on the Ark of the Covenant? No, they weren't these little babies that they made in European imagery. They were rather like those big Assyrian statues that you see at the entry to the Louvre. Go Google it. You have the Seraphim, seen by Isaiah, who the word seraph, like Moses put a seraph on a staff, or was commanded to do so by God, Book of Numbers, go check that out. Clearly reptilian, whether you like it or not. And here in Mishnah 4, I'm skipping Mishnah 3 in the Chaim Vital version. We'll go back to it because it's going to play into his version of things. But here in Mishnah 4, we talk about those mysterious entities called the Teli. In Hebrew, spelled Tab Lamed Yod, which in the Gematria is Tam, or pure. The Teli, let's be blunt, okay? They are the Seraphim, as recorded in Isaiah. They are the watchers, as recorded in Daniel. The word Teli in Hebrew comes from like Tili or Telim or Tanim, which means dragons, for lack of a better word, reptilians. And I remember seeing, when I wrote my original work about extraterrestrials in the Torah, I researched this way back in 1993. And I remember seeing some scholarly television program that speculated if the dinosaurs from 65 million years ago did not die in what is believed to be some asteroid strike, whether or not that's true, well, I know I wasn't there, they would have evolved and become humanoid reptilians, an ancient race, the likes of which we see portrayed in modern day fiction and science fiction. I remember seeing an example of this most notably recently out of the English television sci-fi series, Doctor Who. I forgot the name of the subterranean race, but they had this one female character who was this reptilian who worked with the doctor, etc. and so on. But as strange as that might sound, well, it's not as foreign from a Torah point of view as one might think, especially when we look at all the correlations. But Mishnah 4 speaks of the Teli. And again, I'm going to read to you from the Moshe Kordevero work, simply because he has a version of this, which is kind of like the same as Reb Chaim, but a little addition, which gets left out, which is vital for us to understand. So, Mishnah 4 states, this is Chaim Vital's version, the Teli be'olam, the Teli are in the world like a king upon his throne. The Galgal, or a sphere, like a king, all right? The Galgal is in the year, like a king on a wall. And that's really not the accurate version of the text. And the heart is in the soul, like a king at war. Well, Rabbi Moshe Kordevero has a little different version of this. And he says, of course, the Tili are in the world like a king on its throne. But the sphere is in the year like a king in the country. And, of course, the heart and the soul like a king at war. But then, this is the version of the book that I have. You can get this online probably somewhere. You can go look at the right page. There it is. There you go. So for those of you who want to look this stuff up on camera, you can go pause it and read for yourself. And then he adds like this. Klalol shel davar, the general rule of all of this. Mekatzat elu mitztarafim im ela. All right? These mix with those. Ve'elu tumurot elu. And one is really another form of the other. Elu keneged elu. One corresponding to the other. Ein elu, ein elu. And if you don't have one, you don't have the other. Okay, that's a curious statement. And Reb Moshe here has a commentary, which I translated in full. And I have it. You'll see it. It is part of the, the handout for this lesson. And originally, I was not going to hand this out. I wasn't going to release it. I was going to keep it exclusive to my smallest, tightest circle of students, because I think that the revelations in here are too shocking to make public. But last night, I had let's just say, a reminder from an old mentor that that's not the way it's supposed to be. Our job in this world is to be active, to make a difference, to rock the boat, shake the sleeper, do something. And I said, okay, something, I'm not a revolutionary and I don't believe in revolutions, but God does what God does. But if I'm given something, then okay, let me use it. Let me put it out there, and however it's going to be, it's going to be. However and whatever people are going to think, let them think. So here you go. You'll notice that I call this the secrets of the Seraphim-Teli, Akatriel. Because there's a very curious teaching in the Talmud, an Merkava ascent experience of Rabbi Yishmael. I'll just quote it to you from Gemara, Masechet Berachot, Daf Zayin Amud Aleph 7a. It says, Rabbi Yishmael said, I once entered the innermost part of the sanctuary to offer incense, and I saw a Akatriel, Ka, Yudke, Havaya, Yudke, Vavke of armies. He was seated upon a high and exalted throne, just like Isaiah saw God in Isaiah chapter 6. He saw the Seraphim around God, higher than God, actually, if you look carefully. And this Akatriel said, Ishmael, my son, bless me. And he gave him a blessing, to which he nodded his head. You can go see it in the notes there. Who is this Akatriel? It is said he is the Lord of the Seraphim, of whom Isaiah saw in chapter 6 of his book. And as Rabbi Moshe makes it very clear, he is related to the angel Metatron, who is related to the angel Sandalphon. Now you've learned already how we have everything in triads, right, left and center, top to the sides. Well, this is the big triad. Again, Rabbi Moshe brings down, this is the secret of the worlds in Biriah, Yetzirah, and Asiyah. Now remember, the Sephirot, they exist in what we call the world called Atzilut, using later Kabbalah speak. The power of the mind is that realm of consciousness. We have the Sefer, Sapar, and Sipor that we discussed in chapter 1, first Mishnah. And then we have the Sefirot, which come and interact out of the Sefirot, out of Atzilut, through the Sefer, Sapar, Sipor of Beriah into the Yetziratic plane, which then are shielded in or clothed in the letters, which give rise to the Asiatic plane. In other words, what we're saying is this: there's an ideal world. Plato talked about it, the Neoplatonic philosophers talked about it, and the Kabbalists talk about it. That is why in the Zoharic traditions, you'll find many scholars who have studied Neoplatonism and Plato are saying, aha, the ideas that Plato discusses and the Neoplatonists discuss is discussed by the Zohar and those Kabbalists of those schools, which means they are Neoplatonic. Okay, 6 of one, half dozen of another. They're discussing the same thing. So the scholarly view of Zoharic Neoplatonic connection, it's there. Whether who learned from what, go argue that based upon whatever polemic you want to accept, but the idea is there. There is the ideal world. And the ideal world, called in later Kabbalah Atzilut, is clothed in the 3 dimensions of our human experience called mind, heart, deed. These are the 3 worlds which we refer to as Beriah, Yetzirah, and Asiya. And in each, there are the conduit called the center column, a race of beings whose job it is to materialize this. In the Beriatic realm, we have an angel represented by the name Akatriel, which means the crown of God. In the Yetziratic realm, we have the guardian himself, Metatron. And in the Asiatic world, the complement of Metatron, Sandalphon, who we know becomes the angel of the covenant, or Eliyahu, Elijah the prophet, the immortal prophet, of whom we are now giving classes in the weekly level. Go check out YouTube, Facebook, Patreon. You'll see all those classes there. But here is the issue. The Teli, these dragons, that's what they are. They are reptilians. They are the Seraphim. How do we know they're dragons? Why do we call them reptilians? Well, because the Bible calls them that. When they were called Seraphim, again, we've discussed this over and over again. People misinterpret the word seraph as so-raph, which means burning ones. No, the word is seraph, which means reptilian ones, just like Moses. God used the word seraph, putting that image of the seraph on the pillar back in the book of Numbers. I mean, this is how we know this stuff from the Bible. This is like basic Bible stuff, Bible 101, guys. So the Seraphim are the reptilian entities. Clearly they are these Beriatic entities. This is Akatriel. They are therefore the Teli, as Rabbi Moshe Kordevero says here. But they are also, like he said in that section left out of Rabbi Chaim's version, interaction. The 3 levels of the angels are the Seraphim, the Chayot, and the Ophanim. Again, you'll go check this out here. It's all there in translation. Well, the Seraphim are one thing, the Chayot with Metatron in charge, and the Ophanim with Sandalphon in charge. They're all connected to one another. They're all interrelated with one another because essentially it's all one and the same race, each materializing at a different dimensional reality. And that's the great secret here of the yichud, or the unity of what we call God. So when we make Merkava ascent, we become aware of the entities around us. Daniel experienced them and referred to them as the Watchers. He recognized that they are the Teli. And I've written about the Teli in my disclosure essays. Rabbi Menachem Tziyuni refers to them because the Teli, as they exist here in our plane, this is the Ophanim materialization of them. And that's, remember, Ophan is a wheel. That's why when you experience one of them for real, they look like ball lightning. Those are your orbs. And those orbs are actually conscious, sentient beings. And you see they're all over the place. Yeah, that's why they're called watchers.
revealing to you many secrets here. When we go off into meditation, into the psychic realm, astral projection, remote viewing, we go into their domain, and they see us as balls of light. And as such, we communicate. How do two balls of light communicate? Telepathically, psychically, through imagery. And that's when we see them in visions and dreams of the night, like the Bible says. And many a time, the vision is not clear and needs to be clarified. And these entities, balls of light, are real. They have tangible energy and power, and you got to respect them. So if you remember the famous story in the book of Daniel, Daniel has a dream. He prays to God. God sends to him Gabriel. Gabriel's held up by the angel, the prince of Persia, who is the energy field in that domain, is not allowing others to penetrate. And it starts a big war. Michael has to come in. Everybody gets involved. Big balagan, as we say in Hebrew. But we learn that this stuff is real. And that's why we have such human confusion and human conflict, because the energies directly above our own are equally in conflict. And the greatest thing that we can do as human beings, that's you and me, the reason why we're making these videos right now, is for you to work with me to fulfill one single prayer that we recite every day. Osei shalom b'imramav hu barahamav yaseh shalom aleinu. He who makes peace in his high heavens may in his grace make peace upon us. We project the shalom, the yichud, the unity of all things. The Teli, in their domain, in the bariatric realm, they're like a king. They control everything. It's their edict, just like it says amongst the watchers in Daniel. The sphere, which is the realm of time, that is the domain of Metatron, where the 6 Sephirot are, the realm of heart. Heart exists in time. We actually have shifting, movement, change. And it says that's like a king in the country, meaning the king is traveling. He's in a state of movement because everything in the 6 Sephirotic realm is in movement, right, left, center. But a king is still a king. He still has his bodyguards. He is still very much in control, even though he's in a state of movement. That's the nature of the symbol here. And then it says, in the heart, the soul, that is a king at war. Because inside our present human reality, think about it, where is the real war and conflict in this world? It's not in governments. It's not in the powers of the economy. It's in the human heart, the human mind. We have our own struggles every single day. And as long as we struggle as individuals, that is going to ripple effect into every place in the universe. Now, those forces, the Seraphim, the Hayot, and the Ophanim, are reflecting with us. We're all integrated with one another. And as such, as much as they have an influence upon us, we have influence in reverse upon them. That is also clear from the Bible. That is the whole purpose of the commandments of the Torah, so as to create a proper energetic vibration of balance and harmony, so as to ripple effect. That's what we call morals and values, that which is so much under attack and being destroyed in modern times. And that, of course, will destabilize the entire world, and everything will reflect a state of destabilization, or if we can create it, stabilization. So this is the secret of the Teli. They are that race, those angels, in each and every dimensional plane. Isaiah saw them. Moses saw them. Daniel saw them. Each at every level along the way. We refer to it as Sandalphon. We refer to them as Metatron. Remember, Enoch went up and joined the Metatrons. They didn't say he joined the Seraphim. They are above the crown. They are in that higher domain. Yeah, so you have those entities that are above. But all of these things, as it says, you read the commentary from Kordevero, come down that center column. That is the secret of the higher soul, of the human experience, us, what we call Seraphim from the higher realm. and each reveals itself at its lower dimensional plane. A lot of secrets here, too many for me to expose in general, but not too many for you to reveal, or let me rephrase, have revealed to you by your own discoveries. So seek, discover, explore, practice the meditative techniques, check out the courses I have for you online. Make a difference in the world. Isn't that what it's all about? Well, you think about that, and then when you're done thinking, do it. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you in the next class. Shalom.